systems on. We've forgotten to turn the phone off. It's all systems go here. At the moment, we're thinking about Easter decorating, and a lot of what we do for Christmas is the same concepts for Easter. You know us, we like to keep it simple, create cute ideas that you can do yourself, and with not much effort at all. So today I wanted to show you two of my favorite products for Easter and a couple of different ways to use them. So this is, we call it a tea leaf, and it is on our website now. It hasn't been on there. I didn't realize there was no photo. It's $5.95 a piece, and you can see what I'm going to do is I'm going to make one of these little pieces here for you using that and this gorgeous pick, which is $19.95 with the Easter eggs on it. All these picks and garlands are just, they're not all glued in, they're just pushed in, they're foam. So if they fall off, you can put the eggs back on quite easily. Or if you want something that's a little bit more sturdy, then you can add a little bit of glue to the egg and then glue it back on. All right, so just so you know, you can easily sort of repair that.
Just get a close look at that, Nicole.
Yeah, there's wire that's come off there.
Yeah.
Right, and I'll show you how to do it actually. So if I've got a glue gun ready to go. So I'm just going to put the tiniest bit of glue on here. You are ready to go, yes. Just need a little bit of glue and back onto my wire. And just let that set. All right. So as I said, a couple of different ways of using these same pieces to make really cute, simple ideas for Easter. So what I'm going to start with is our pot, which I used for Valentine's Day, and I also love for Christmas with just simple baubles on it. So exactly the same thing. And what you can do, if you can create a piece like this, you can also take the eggs out and change it to a different thing. So you can have your one main piece, and even ribbons, if you want to just add ribbons at different times of the year to create a different thing. So I've got a little urn here. This one's $19.95. You could use little tin buckets, anything that's a sturdy shape. And I've fitted a piece of florist foam, and the main thing is you want that florist foam to be nice and tight so your piece doesn't move around. I'll probably end up using two of these picks in making this. I've cut one up and I'm going to show you how to cut the other one now. We use this big cutter, don't worry, this piece is about $400, so most of you are not going to have this at home. A set of pliers is just fine to do the job. And to start with, we're just going to take the end off here. Okay, so what we need, obviously, if it's going into the florist foam, we do need a bit of wire at the base, but I don't want it to be sticking up that high. So we're going to cut this down into two pieces. So I'm just going to hold back the lower branches and give myself a second stem from each of these. And then they are slightly different, the two pieces. So I do separate them into two piles, and I've been using these ones around the outside, and I've been using the sort of fuller ones around the middle. Okay, so I'm just going to continue to cut these up so that we've got enough to get our job done. Michelle was saying earlier that she is decorating for Christmas, for Easter this year, for getting into the spirit. What are you thinking colour-wise, Michelle?
Probably all the pastels.
Yeah.
My daughter loves all the pastel colours, so the pinks, the pale blues, the greens.
My size been torn. I have done a display at my place with the pastel colours, which I'll share online in the next couple of days. But I'm also loving the orange and blue. So because I've got a bit of a Hamptons theme at home,
That would suit your home.
I am going to go and do a second setup of my dining table, possibly this afternoon if I get to it, and set up with the orange and blue. And I've got an example of one of the pieces here for you as well in that colourway to give you an idea. Okay, pretty simple stuff. So there is nothing difficult about what we're doing. You'll have this done in no time. So if your stems are a bit long, you can always cut them back. I like to just shape them slightly so when the foliage goes into the pot, it's sort of sitting down a bit rather than all sticking up. And all we're doing is just fitting that around. And I like to do sort of half the pot with the backing or the edge pieces. Just, and then fill it and then do the front half. Now, if you do have questions, please make sure you do put them online, because as I said, we will come back and answer these for you. The other thing we're doing on Saturday is I'll be here from 10 till 2. So we're open just for a little while for Easter trading. Thursday, Friday and Saturday 10 till 2 for the next couple of weeks. And on Saturdays I will be here, and we've got a couple of tables set up and some chairs so that you can do your own decorating and have a bit of guidance. So if you want to make this piece but you don't want the mess at home, then, make it here. That's fine. Sorry, I'm putting the wrong ones in there. They're the edge ones. Come in on Saturday between 10 and 2 and you can create a piece like this yourself. Otherwise, if you're not into making them, we do have them for sale as well. So you can see there's nothing complicated about what I'm doing here. And you can just mix up this foliage. That's why I like this foliage. It just sort of sits wherever you want it to, but you don't need too much of it. So as you can see, just two of these have gone to fill this pot. I've got one left at the back, which I'll just put this one in because this looks a bit empty. If you want it to be fuller, you can, but you can't really see the florist foam there, which is always, to me, the important thing you're trying to hide. And I think it's got enough coverage on it. When I spin it around, because they're all being cut to the same length, I haven't had to worry too much about the shape because it's going to automatically maintain quite a good shape. So then with our pick here, again, we don't need to use all of these in one pick. So we're going to break these down. And this one piece is going to make us our centerpiece. It's going to make us our wreath, and it's going to make us our tabletop pieces just by breaking it into multiple pieces. So I just pull them off, and I want each of these eggs separate. So sometimes you've got to pull a little bit. There is a little bit of this fabric around the base. It's going to be hidden by the foliage, so there's no need to worry too much about that. And so we just keep breaking these down. Doesn't want to come off. There we go. So if you've got a lot of this, paper, of course you clean that off because it's not going to stick into your foam very well. But otherwise you don't have to worry too much at all about it. And then it's just a matter now putting them in. You can see your wire isn't that much longer than your foliage, so you're not going to push it in a long way. So you do need to be fragile when you move it around because it's just sitting in there. And then it's up to you how many eggs you decide to put in there. You do want to make sure you've got something coming out the front. If I can get this in here. Oh, come on. Chosen the hardest one with the fabric around it. Okay, so you do want to get something down low and something up high. I'll just put this one in, I won't do the whole thing, but I think 2 sticks would probably be sufficient to do a pot like this. So as I said, you've got 2 pieces of foliage, that's $12. You've got a sixth of a pick. So if you've got other uses for it, it's only $20 for a pick. And then this pot is $19.50. But if you go with little tin buckets and things, small ones, they start at sort of $4 or $5, I think, from memory. Michelle, I've seen them around. We've had them in the past as well. I don't have any buckets here at the moment. So I'm not going to do the whole thing, but you can certainly see how easy that is. And this one, we've just got a marbly kind of base. I think the price on that's about the same for that one. So that is pretty damn easy to do. Oh, let's put that one back in. Okay, so that's option 1. I'll just clear away my pieces. The other thing, actually, just while we're on that, a couple of the other kind of containers you could use. I love these little watering cans. They're $35. They're a bit dearer. Another sort of urn. We also made a planter box for the front door. Exactly the same styling as this. We added a little bit of ribbon to it. No different. That's a very big planter box. We had some smaller ones, but they've actually already been allocated for the classes on Saturday. But that's also another way of using them for that. Okay, option 2. I thought this one, I love using these grapevine wreaths, and this is probably about 25 centimetre wreath. So what I've done here is started the process, and I just wanted to have a really light foliage around here. You could use this in the table with, you know, an Easter bunny sitting in the middle of it, or some of the LED candles in it. And I wanted to show you how easy it is to make this. Again, 2 of these pieces of tea leaf pick have been used for this. And I'll get you to come in if you can, Michelle, on this. So I've cut these ones basically into their full length, so just cut them off the stem here. And I don't want the end to be too long because I'm going to be tying it onto my wreath. And if you wanted it to be fuller, you could cut the smaller pieces and put more together. But particularly for Easter, I just didn't think it was necessary. It's more about just getting a bit of a concept and the colouring on your table without having to be overly precise. And I'm just going to layer each piece. I've layered so that the sort of the beginning of the foliage is at the end of the previous stem, to give you an idea. But it's quite a long stem, so rather than just tying in the end there, I'm going to lift this foliage up, the first bit that we cut off on that previous example, just to hold it out of the way, and just tie this on a couple of times, just to give it a bit of strength and positioning in there. And then once I've done that, it's all thumbs and fingers and thumbs here. Sorry guys, it's a bit hard to show you, but you're just using a wire. We've got this here, so if you wanted to make one of these, the wreath frame I think was $12.95 when I looked at it, and as I said, the 2 pieces of foliage. And then I'm going to put one more in here, which will be pretty close to perfect. Just going to cut that off a bit. And actually I didn't measure this, so I thought I was going to have to cut a smaller one, but that's just right, so that's great. So I'm going to bring that around and then just get all my foliage out so I don't waste it, and tie that on there. This probably took me about 20 minutes this morning. How long? I wasn't here that long, was I?
No.
Sort of prepping for this. So it's done. It's not an overly complicated job to do. It's just a little bit fiddly. I will also try, if I can edit, I'll try and put the links to the products for this onto Facebook. I haven't done that before, but after we've finished, I'll see if I'm able to do that. And closing it off, I'm just going to tie it around and create a loop that I'm just going to put that wire through, you know, sort of like, I don't know what they call it. Oops, not caught up on the foliage, preferably. A couple of those, because of course being a wire, it does hold its position a bit. If you wanted to, you could look to glue the end in, and even I'm just going to wire it around one of these branches just so I can cut it and it's not hanging out on the in my way. Okay, so that just gives us a really nice light foliage. And then I'm not going to use that one because that's the one we glued, because what I actually want to do here is take these off. So I quite often with picks, it's good to just twist them a little bit, so if they are glued you don't lose half the pick when you take it off. Now, if you wanted to be able to reuse this wreath for other seasons, rather than gluing them like I'm doing, then you could have the individual either bunches and wire them in. So use your same wire and come back and just wire it into place. And then you can take the wire off, or you could take them down to individual stems. Right, so that gives you more flexibility if you do want to reuse it. As it stands, this piece is, what do we say, about $24 for the base of this, so it just depends on whether the time it takes to do that is worth it. And it's also space though. Sometimes it's good to be able to use the same piece so you don't have as much that you're trying to store in the off season. Okay, so using a glue gun here. Now some of these you'll see have got little crevices in them, or they've got the end. So you just want to sort of hide that. That's the bit you're going to glue on. These glue guns are incredibly hot, so just be careful. And I'm just going to glue them around. Always try and go in and out with your piece, so you've got some on the inside. See if I can do this without burning myself. I should have gloves on. But you can see how easy it is to make something cute for the front door or the table really quickly and inexpensively, just by using one piece in multiple different ways. Now, I don't think you need to see me glue every one of these on because it's all the same. You've got the idea here. And again, up to you how much you want in there. With this pick, you've got quite a bit. So if you're only doing 2 pieces, you'd have quite a few. Or let's say you decided to do 2 of these for your table display, then you'd see how many you've got left, and then you can use the rest of them on a piece like this. So that's how easy it is to make a really cute little Easter wreath, or, as I say, sit your bunny in the middle of this, or a vase in the middle of this with your twigs, so forth, which is really, really cute. So that's option 2. Now, third one is, let's just get that, I'm going to turn this glue gun off so I don't burn myself. Third one is a table centerpiece. So, again, I'm going to separate each. Most of these, most times I use this, in fact, all times I use this, I separate it into its individual branches. And in this case, I'm going to just use 2 in their current shape size. And I'm going to use, these come, when you break this down, it kind of comes as a group of 3 and a group of 4. So I'm just going to use one of my groups there, which happens to be the group of 3 that I've got. And I am going to make a simple little piece that we're going to put on a table centerpiece, which I'll show you in a sec. So I want my flower, so it's just going to be the base of it, is as simple as that. We love these little cable ties. So there's 20 in a pack for $1 or $2, a couple of dollars. But these green ones are new that I've just found, which is just really handy. So rather than having to use it to my ribbon and hold everything together, I tend to cable tie it first. Then my hands are free to deal with the ribbon. I'm not great at bows, so I like to have as much help as I can get.
You're good at bows.
I love my bow maker. I'm good with bow maker bows.
Bow maker's great.
Yeah, the bow maker makes it easy. All right, so I like to sort of try and lay it down, and then I'm going to get this in as tight as I can. And you can decide how much you want to spray it out. Again, you know, it's up to you. If you want this to be heavier with more eggs, you can choose to have 2 of these in there. So if you had a second one, you could sit it up there like that. So if you want to have it more, go ahead, up to you. So let's just get this sitting nice to start with, and cut off use the bad scissors, the old scissors. Don't use the good scissors. Never got good scissors around here for our ribbons. Although it doesn't help that the ribbons are wired, so we probably destroy them ourselves.
That doesn't help.
And then all I'm going to do is make a little bow. Now for Easter, we've actually got some beautiful ribbons in store. I'm sorry, they're not online at the moment. If you want some of this, I can certainly, we're happy to cut this for you. You need to just let us know if you place in your order. We can send you an additional order, $2 a metre for this little gorgeous little Grosgain ribbon. I've no idea how much I've used. Probably about 70, 80 centimetres there I've taken. And I'm just going to tie a bow around this. And then I'll show you the place settings so you can see how cute it looks. So you can see what I mean. If you're not dealing with holding this in place, it's so much easier to deal with your ribbon. My ends look a bit terrible there, so before I've got a bow, I'm just going to cut them off so it's nice and neat. I like this to be as tight as I can make it. And then the old shoelaces bow. And whenever you keep it loose, when you're making a bow like this and you're doing it for sort of any art project, keep it loose and keep sort of straightening it up, and then you'll keep getting it tighter and tighter, and you'll get the positioning of it right, and you'll get your two tails the right length as well. Oh, sorry, two sides of the ribbon I meant to say. Okay, so just make this one a bit bigger. Okay, and I like to cut the ribbon. I always just fold the ribbon in half, and probably only need it that long. And then, yeah, this way, cut into the ribbon. And let me just show you a table. I bought this, which I've got to say is pretty poor quality, but that's okay, at Spotlight. It was $10 for a table runner, but it only made 2 tablecloths. But you could also just buy a piece of artificial grass at Bunnings and cut it down to your sizes. It's probably the cheapest way to do it. Just get rid of this. It's all the mess from that. We've just also got some of the bamboo plates, which we thought was just a really nice way of adding that natural element for Easter. When we went buying, we did find these gorgeous cutlery.
They are cute.
I know, and it's actually pastel set, so the whole set is different colours of pastel.
Oh.
So if you want that, I think it works out probably about $85 for 6 cut knives and forks. That's all you get.
I want that.
Yeah, but we had to do it. Looked too cute for the, and you'll see it on the Easter photo when I put it out there. And then that, like that. And so now you've got something really cute on your table without going to too much effort at all. But I also want to show you, as I said, I'm doing a different theme for my table this year. And this is the other garland that's $39.95 that you can also use to do some of these same things. So if you wanted to, you could cut the carrots off and have them here instead of eggs with your colouring. And what I did was just take that off. I have to lose my gorgeous cutlery. I'll just leave it there because I don't have another one. Just an orange napkin. How cute does that look?
That is cute.
And that's the gorgeous ribbon from one of our American suppliers that we've just got in, which is why we're doing some of this orange and blue. And we have a taffeta. This bow I don't like. I sort of, my first sample, it was not quite the right mix. So, but this gorgeous velvet and the blue and orange to mix in with these colour themes. And as I said, $39.95 for the garland means that you can create some tabletop pieces and you'd have enough garland left to actually still have some of it sitting on the table. We've used it for a wreath that you'll see again on Facebook. It's on there. It's got a moss. I think it's down the front now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got moss that we put on it, and the bow and the carrots. And please, if you're doing some Easter stuff, share some photos with us. We all love to see the inspiration of what you've done as well, because we all learn from each other. I hope these ideas have helped you with some simple concepts if you're having a lovely family gathering this year. We may all be spending a bit more time at home, so some crafting activities to do. So everyone, thanks for watching. Stay safe.